It's Owen. There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday Wellness Livecast. I am so excited to be here today because I am debuting the ebook that I've been writing, and I'm going to tell you all about the process and everything. But first, I just want to introduce myself. If you do not know me, my name is Christy. I am a transformational wellness coach, and I help women take your awful, debilitating anxiety symptoms, especially the pain in your stomach all the time, kick it out the door, and teach you simple routines so that you can live in God's perfect peace. And if you pray and pray and pray and you struggle to hear from Him, girl, we're going to get you hooked up and you're going to start hearing from Him all the time. And that is what the Rooted Reset, the book that I am writing, the Rooted Reset, Anxiety and Overwhelm Assessment and Scorecard is all about. So I am very, very excited. If you can tell, I don't know if you can tell or not, but behind me is where my desk actually is, but it was so dark that I decided I needed to turn, and so now I am kind of working off of things in a, there we go, in kind of different locations than usual. So if you see me look in different places, that's just trying to get my bearings. So what are we going to be doing today? Well, firstly, if you are coming in on Facebook or on TikTok, I want you to say hello. Let me know where you're coming from. Really excited to see people, meet people, engage with you. I can't see you, especially on Facebook, unless you're putting in the comments. If you're watching the replay of this, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube, make sure you put a hello in the comments. And as you watch, I still want you to comment and share things throughout. Super excited about this. So again, today we're going to be talking about the ebook that I am writing, the Rooted Reset, Anxiety and Overwhelm Assessment and Scorecard. And it is exactly what it sounds like it is. So it is about resetting our roots in Jesus, in God, in all of the promises that are made to us. It's about resetting and rerooting in everything that we are supposed to have eminent in them. And then it's an anxiety and overwhelm assessment broken up on my 4 areas, my 4 foundations of wellness of agape love. I renamed this one, so I always have to think. It's not brain rewiring and plasticity anymore. What is it now? Nervous system regulation, physical wellness, and nutrition. And so all 4 of those areas get covered. And today what we're going to really talk about is I'm going to introduce it. If you are on TikTok and you have Facebook, I recommend that you hop over to Facebook. It's at Kingdom Coach Christy. So the same thing you're saying now, but without the periods, okay? Because I'm also going to be sharing my screen on Facebook, which I will not do on TikTok, okay? But in this book, I am unveiling hidden truths that the enemy has been using to deceive you, especially about your anxiety. We're going to be diving into the root of your anxious thoughts, the root of the reactions that you have, the root of the constant overwhelm that you feel in your life. And I will be introducing you to some of the powerful strategies that's the section I'm actually working on right now. So the powerful strategies that you're going to be able to utilize to move out of anxiety, out of overwhelm, and into the powerfully equipped woman of God that you are and were created to be, so that you can walk freely in your anointing and finally reach for those big dreams that have been on your heart but you haven't been going after because the anxiety's been getting in the way. Okay? Who is excited about this? Give me an amen in the chat if you are excited about this. Let me pull up I'm going to switch screens around a little bit, pull up my book, pull over my Facebook. All right, and again, I'll be watching in the chat, so make sure that you say hello as you come in. Share your reactions, your questions, your thoughts. If at any time you decide, yes, 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 this is something that I need in my life, then all you have to do is put Rooted Reset anywhere in the chat at any time, and I will make sure that you get on the list. All right, now what I don't know how to do, so bear with me a moment. I'm supposed to be able to share my screen. whilst I am inside of Facebook, but as I feared, I don't see how to do that. So if anybody knows, put it in the chat for me. While we're waiting, in the chat, will you please share with me if you struggle with physical symptoms of anxiety, what is the most like bothersome or debilitating for you? So for me, it's the ouchy stomach. Like I have a severely painful stomach when the anxiety is hitting really hard, and it was one of the most debilitating aspects when I was under the full force of anxiety, followed by during my panic attacks, I would have these really intense chest like constrictions where I'd sit there and I'd try to like pull the skin off of my chest because I wanted so badly to be able to breathe and breathe regularly. So those were my two like biggest struggles. So put into the chat for me, what are your biggest struggles physically with anxiety? And while you're doing that, I'm going to see if I can't figure out how to share my screen. Oh, start screen share. It's not going to let me share it. You stinker. I Googled this before I started and it lied. I'm just reading through. Fine. Distribution, clipping. Okay, well, not today. Not today then. I'm sorry. We're still doing this. We're still talking about it, but I'm not going to be able to screen share today. So, my apologies. So, you'll just have to wait and see what it looks like. Oh, what did I click on? I clicked on something I didn't mean to. Hey, thanks for the hearts. Give me some more hearts on both platforms, please, because that helps get this out to more people. Okay, so you're going to have to see the beauty of what it looks like a little bit later. If you put Rooted Reset in this particular live on Facebook, I will make sure to, I'll send you a few screenshots, okay, so that you can see. So I'll get an email up and ready probably next week and send some screenshots. So what the premise of this book is, I have a question for you. I have a question. I want you to answer this in the chat, even if you're watching the replay. I don't care what platform you're on. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. What if rest could be your permanent state of being? How would that change your life if you could show up, hey, nice to see you, Carmel. So exciting. Woohoo. What if rest could be your permanent state of being? What if you could show up every single day and you knew that you would be relaxed, you would be calm, you would have no worries weighing you down, you would have no anxious or racing thoughts? What would change in your life? Give me a couple of words about how that would change you. Aw, thank you so much. You sent me a rose. That's so sweet. Let's get this out there, man. This is like life-changing stuff right here that we're talking about today. And I keep having to look at my phone and touching it's making it move weird. All right, so put it in the comments, even if you're watching the replay here. How would your life change if rest could be your permanent state of being? You didn't have to worry about the achy tummy anymore. You didn't have to worry about not being able to breathe anymore. You didn't have to worry about, I'm going on a trip tomorrow and I'm flying and I'm going somewhere I've never been before and I'm going out of country for the very first time and oh my gosh, how is my body going to react anymore? How would that liberate you? That, my friend, is what we are talking about in this book. That is the whole premise. I am so excited that you have found this, because if you're here, if you're with me, I'm just going to take a wild stab in the dark that I might know a few things about you. As soon as you hear anything that describes you, put me in the comments. I bet you are absolutely amazing at what you do. I bet you are incredibly driven. Maybe even perfectionistic. Dare I say, type A. Any of those describing you yet? And maybe, just maybe, you're carrying the burden of a secret or not so secret life, where you're tired of worrying constantly. You're tired of feeling sick all the time. You're tired of hiding the stomach pain, the gas, the inability to breathe, the shaking hands, the illogical fears, feeling like the burden is always on your shoulders and there's nothing you can do to shake it off. You are absolutely exhausted from trying to be normal and everyone thinking that you're just attention seeking, or that you're over the top, or that you're dramatic. You have a small faith, or you have a big faith probably, but you have this kind of small, you don't want to admit it maybe, but maybe this small faith that with enough prayers, with enough intercession, maybe even the right laying on of hands, breathing techniques, or mindset tricks, that's going to be enough and you're finally going to find relief, but you might not be so sure you really actually believe that. You are exhausted. Oops, sorry, kitty cat. I was trying to pick you up. Say hello to Fable. He needs pet. You are exhausted from being overwhelmed and not knowing where to turn or who to turn to that's not going to think you're crazy or attention seeking or just like way dramatic. But behind all of this, you have these big dreams, you have these big desires, you have these big aspirations, but you shy away from many choices and bold actions that would make you uncomfortable or move you outside of your comfort zone. And you might not be sure how you got here. You've probably always been the best at what you try. Always been driven, always been on top of things, always been a bit unsettled in the bowels. You have faith and you believe. You don't want pet, but you want pet. Is that a cat or not? Jeez. Sorry. You have faith and you believe that God can do miracles, but you might not be so sure that He's willing to give you one. So what do you do instead? And this is describing you. Let's see. Oh, I've got more. Thank you. Thank you for the gifts. So what do? You probably continue to strive for more, to continue to try to do better, to push harder, but instead of feeling better, you just learn how to mask it better. You learn how to hide it better. You learn how to normalize what you feel every day so that the pain is not so jabbing inside, or at least you can ignore it for a little while. But I have another question for you. What would happen if you listened to that still small voice knocking at your heart to fully trust in Him? Have you done that yet? Can you fully say that you have fully given everything over to Jesus and that you can fully trust in Him? Give me a yes or no in the comments if you're willing. Well, it's a pretty personal question. Have you fully given it over to Jesus and fully given Him all of your trust? I'm going to tell you what right now. I've been on this journey for a long time. And I don't know what struck me this weekend, but all of the debilitating stomach pain came back in force for 3 days. God healed me. And even right now, I'm going to admit it, right now, as I'm talking, my stomach still hurts. Like it's got a little bit of a pain inside of it right now. And I have given Him my full trust. There's always so many layers and things that we're holding on to, and we need to keep peeling back and peeling through the onion in order to find, because He's going to keep revealing to us where we aren't giving Him that full trust. And that's the process I'm even going through with you right now. I thought this was all completely gone, and then there was this unwieldy attack out of nowhere. But I trust in Him, and He has promised full healing, and He has promised healing not only for me but for you, because everything that is going into this book, y'all, it's been like 6 days. Last Thursday I was told to write this book. I am 49 pages in. I'm almost done. It's going to be another 10 to 15 pages, but His anointing is all over this. I am telling you right now, His anointing is all over this. All right, so let's see. I'm getting some comments in. So my anxiety is ruining my life, and the only thing that is helping is, I'm assuming that's a medication. And then I don't know why some of these get blocked, so I'm going to unblock your comment. He wants it all. He wants the real us. I see his people. You're rare, sis, so thank you. Yeah, Sabrina, I just want to talk to you. Like, I understand. Because what's happening, right? Like, you're searching for answers. You keep searching for answers. So I'm going to take a guess. Give me some me's in the comment here. I'm going to take a guess that if you struggle with anxiety, or you know somebody who struggles with anxiety, okay? You can put yes if you know somebody, or me if it's you. You've put your faith, you've put your money, you've put your energy into all these different things that you have tried, and they haven't touched it, except for maybe, like you said, I think you said I'm assuming it's a medication, the medication. So you've tried diet, didn't work. Put a me when you hear something you've tried and it didn't work. You tried diet, didn't work. You tried exercise, didn't work. You tried coaching, didn't work. You tried yoga, didn't work. You tried chiropractor, didn't work. You tried acupuncture, didn't work. You tried EFT or tapping, didn't work. You name it, you have tried it. And sometimes maybe you had a breakthrough for like this really small amount of time, but then something sent you spiraling down again. Or maybe you went the other route and you decided faith is going to fix me. So you've said, Lord, and this is how you pray, Lord, please fix me. Please deliver me. Please heal me, Lord. I need this. Please, I am begging you. I have been there. You have tried declarations. You've had people lay hands on you. You have fasted. You've done the obedience walk. You've studied the word. Yet you're still anxious all the time. Your mind keeps you up at night. You're running and pooping constantly. You're doubled over in pain on the inside, trying to hide it on the outside. And you might even be wondering, does God love me? Am I a good Christian? Am I worthy? Okay, well, my friend, I am here to tell you that this is not totally your fault. Like, it's not your fault that you've tried all of these things and they haven't worked. Because most of us have grown up in this like world of separation. School separates all the different subjects. Math is different from science, is different from social studies, is different from gym. Western medicine has taught us that you have to go to a specialist. Your stomach hurts, see a stomach specialist. Your chest feels constricted, go see a cardiologist. You feel like you have anxiety, go see a psychologist or psychiatrist. So we go see independent people for our independent problems. And even if we've tried the integrated health route, which has become far more widely accepted and available, it's still separating out you have a body issue from you have a mind concern too, and literally everything to do with who we are as spirits. But what if there was a different way? Okay, you're getting the introduction to the book right now. What if there was a different way? What if you could actually address the root cause of your anxiety and find and live every single day in the peace which surpasses all understanding? I don't think Sabrina is still in here to answer this, but if anybody's here or watching the replay, how would that change your life if you could live every single day in the peace that surpasses all understanding? No more driving down the highway praying you make it from point A to point B without dying. No more waking up and wondering what bad is going to go wrong today. No more having an argument with your spouse and thinking, what if he leaves me? No more hiding the pain because everybody thinks you're just attention seeking and whiny. How would that change your life? Would that change your life? Have you been waiting for this to change your life? Because if you have, I have incredibly, incredibly good news. There is a way out. There is a forever way out. because you can do something about your anxious thoughts. You can do something about the horrible way that your body reacts to your thoughts, and you can get rid of that constant feeling of overwhelm. And it's rooted in 4 foundations of wellness: agape love, the incomprehensible love of the Father for you, and your identity as His daughter and heir; nervous system regulation, learning how to get out of a constant state of fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, and teaching your body how to hit reset and properly respond to stress; physical wellness, that's your posture, flexibility, exercise that you do, and a physical body fitness and wellness perspective; and nutrition, optimally building and fueling your body from the cells up with a whole foods, properly prepared, nutrient-dense diet. And I don't mean like I'm going on the Atkins diet or I'm doing keto diet. I'm talking like a live it, what you're going to do for the rest of your life. That's it. Those are the 4 foundations. So today we're going to talk about how, like, we just basically read the first, 7 pages of the book. Woo! We're going to talk about how we can move one step closer to kicking anxiety and overwhelm out of your life by exploring what your strengths are and what your deficiencies are in each of those 4 foundations. That's what the anxiety and overwhelm assessment is so that you can see from a self-assessment survey perspective exactly where you are and exactly where you need to focus and hone in. And then the scorecard is going to give you, okay, these are my areas, this is where I scored, this is exactly what my game plan is, what I am going to go do about it. Okay, isn't that great? Give me an amen if you're excited about this. I am so excited to be sharing this with you. So why should you take my word for it? If you don't know me, my name is Christy, and I am a recovering perfectionist and incredibly high-strung, anxious person. I know you because I've been you. I have been there. I've had daily unexplainable stomach aches. I've had serious emergency poos before anything that was big and new. I remember I was running a half marathon once. I think it was the one in Myrtle Beach, and I almost missed the start of the race from my corral because I was in line to the porta potty for the 3rd time since we had gotten to the race start and like we got there maybe an hour early. Okay, and my 3rd emergency poo, I thought I was going to poop my pants. There's no way I was going to be able to run that race, and I had to be in line, and I almost missed the start of the race. And when I was in high school, I was also a cross-country runner, and they called me the ant watcher because I would get such intense cramps, I couldn't think of the word, cramps in like my diaphragm that I would just bowl over like this, and everybody just thought it was a hydration issue, and I'm sure that was part of it because, you know, as a high school kid, I drank water, but I didn't realize I probably needed electrolytes in it. But I'm sure a part of that was anxiety too, because anxiety pulls nutrients from everywhere. I've always been high-strung. I've always been perfectionistic. I've always been type A. I have always felt sick. Even as a little child, I remember feeling sick. I remember telling my parents when I was little how every single night I would have a stomach ache. And they just said, there's nothing wrong with you, it's in your head. I'm sure we went to a doctor or something and they like confirmed that. But I remember lying awake at night as a child, and I would imagine in my head that I was flying over my school playground and I was puking out presents to the kids down below because it was the only cathartic thing that my little like 4th, 5th grade brain could think of to try to get rid of the awful, awful pain inside of my stomach. So for me, this goes back that far. And as I got older and I continued to live this anxious lifestyle, a domino effect eventually occurred until I completely broke. Because when you live under a constant state of anxiety, it builds up this depletion inside of you to where a strong enough stress could cause you to utterly break. And some of the first signs are things like being constantly fatigued, having constant anxious thoughts, having constant pains that you can't really explain anywhere. Often that is followed by autoimmunity, and you suddenly get diagnosed with an autoimmune disease that you didn't realize you had, but it's been sitting in there like festering, working itself up for years. They did diagnose me with one. I do not claim that title on my life anymore, but Hashimoto's lived inside me. And then once you're that far gone, all it takes is one huge sudden stress and you are just absolutely broken. Sorry, this cat's distracting me. He doesn't know what he wants right now. I have a daughter. She is 7 years old, and she is the love of my life. And when she was right before conception, I was a teacher. I taught in South Carolina. I got my master's degree in integrated curriculum and instruction. Integrated, like the first time that I actually got to learn how we are integrated people and how our spirit is a part of everything that we do, including learning. That was amazing. Anyway, once I got my master's degree, my first husband did not like South Carolina, so we had an agreement I would try to get a job in Ohio. So I did right away. So we did all the things that we should do, right, when you move. We got a new car. We decided, hey, it's been 7 years. Let's have a baby. We got pregnant right away. We're like, hey, we're having a baby and living with my dad. We should buy a house. So we bought a house. Of course, I had to get that new job. So all these things are happening. And then when my daughter is 5 months old, my husband decides he doesn't want to be a part of our family anymore, and he leaves. You would think someday I'd be able to say that without crying, but it's okay. So he left, and now perfectionistic, driven, type A, struggled with anxious thoughts her entire life, diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, Christy, has a new job, a new house payment, a new car payment, a new baby, and is a newly single mom. And in that time, I broke. I completely and utterly broke. The anxiety symptoms I had been having went through the roof. And I'm not calling anxiety upon me. I bind all spirits of anxiety and stress from me and from anybody who is watching this, and I loose you to the feet of Jesus. You may not attach to us, our pets, our property, our family, our environment. You may not create or exacerbate any new or existing medical conditions within us. You may not call upon anybody for help, and you must go straight to the feet of Jesus for judgment. We're not calling you in. We're talking about the dead that used to live and does not anymore. In Jesus' name, we are washed in his blood. Amen. Thought I'm trying to come on. So, I yawned it out. Oh. Deliverance is an amazing, amazing tool. Amazing tool in learning self-deliverance. Also amazing. My book does not talk about that, but I do provide those services as a part of my coaching services. And if you want to work with me and you want the book too, you can put Rooted Reset in the comments to get the book. But if you want to work with me, I work with women who are ready to get rid of that debilitating stomach ache of anxiety or whatever other symptoms you're having and live in God's perfect peace. That's it. All you have to do is DM me and say, I'm interested in learning more, and I'll get you more information. Okay? Or put it in the comments, whatever. So there I was, and the anxiety attacks that have been permeating my life got worse. If I had to drive outside of my comfort zone the entire day, I couldn't breathe normally. I would want to try to like rip the skin off of my ribs to try to make more room and expand my chest so that my lungs could actually get the air that they needed. And I was struggling. I had a struggle for every single breath. 3 months after my first husband left, I got incredibly ill one night. Couldn't stop throwing up. My neighbors that God had given me as adopted parents when I moved came down, took care of me and my daughter. And at the ER, the doctors pumped me full of fluid. They said, "You're going to be totally fine." And they sent me home and said, "Live life normally." But when I got home, nothing was normal. When I started to eat again, the pain hurt so badly inside of my stomach that all I could do was curl up in the fetal position and pray that it would go away. I couldn't take care of me. I couldn't take care of my daughter. I had nowhere to turn, no one to turn to, and I didn't know what to do. And it was like this every single day. A superintendent saw me. I was an educational consultant at the time, and the superintendent saw me walking into a building one day, and he said, "Christy, you are obviously sick. Go home." And I said, "Fred, I feel like this every single day. If I go home today, I might as well never come back." After a few months, I found a quasi-functional doctor, and he tested me for the 7 most common food allergens. And at the time, my body could not take, was allergic to, milk, eggs, wheat, sugar, and corn. And I already wouldn't touch soy. So I was allergic to like literally everything. Sorry. If you're yawning, keep yawning. It's a little deliverance from the anxiety, the spirit of anxiety there. Literally everything in processed foods I could no longer touch. Literally everything in processed foods I could not touch. So now I had to completely change how I ate too. He literally handed me this sheet of paper, and on it was listed vegetables, fruits, and some oils. Y'all, I know I'm a nutritionist now, but I can't cook. Like, I have to follow a recipe for literally everything. I finally made a salmon fillet on my own with a recipe. That tasted good for the first time last week. Like, seriously, I struggle cooking. So he hands me this sheet of food, and I'm supposed to magically manifest it into edible meals. Like, seriously. So I now was starving. I am a very small person. I lost weight rapidly. My pants were literally falling off of me. And I still had nowhere to go, no one to turn to, no idea what to do. And one night, after pumping 6 times in the closet of one of the schools I was at, coming home with maybe a centimeter of milk when I should have had gallons, I got down on my knees, I put my hands up in the air, and I said, "God, I can't do this anymore. I cannot survive another minute. I cannot feed my daughter and keep her healthy. I can't make it, much less another day, another month, another year. God, this is yours. I give it all up. I can't do this." Your name. Sorry. Somebody wandered through my TikTok whose name was Chrissy's Light. One of the few people who was fully around and there for me and helped and encouraged me every step of the way was my ex-husband's stepmom, and her name was Chrissy. And she died very unexpectedly last year. So seeing Chrissy's light Sorry. Y'all. I've been there. I've been in the pain. I've been in the hurt. And I've taken the journey. I have taken the journey. I have been there. And I need to blow my nose, sorry. You're going to hear it. I spent the 7 years and the tens of thousands of dollars making all the assumptions and all the mistakes and going on the journey, because when I got down on my knees in that moment and I put my hands up, I promised God, because I knew I was in a deep dark tunnel and I knew there was a pinprick of light somewhere up above that sometimes I could see and sometimes I couldn't, but I knew it was there, and I knew that that light was my redemption story and that someday I would walk in the full light of that story. And I promised God, when. If you learn nothing else from this, learn the word when instead of if. When. When that day came, that I lived in the full glory and light of that redemption story, that I devoted my life, I was going to devote my life to ensuring nobody else ever had to go through what I had gone through. And that has been what has been on my mind since that day. That is why I'm here today. I've gone through the journey. I've come out the other side. God has taught me. He has healed me. He has made me so much wiser. And He has said, it is time to pass that wisdom on to you. And that is what the Rooted Reset Anxiety and Overwhelm Assessment and Scorecard is about. That's what this book is about. And it is absolutely free, y'all. It is absolutely free. All you have to do is put Rooted Reset in the comments and I will make sure you get a copy as soon as it is finished. Because I've made the same mistakes that you have made. Okay? I have tried healing with just nutrition, diet, supplements, exercise, yoga, chiropractic, acupuncture, EFT, tapping, and more. These are all documented, research-based techniques that are supposed to pull us out of the pit, but why aren't they working for you? That's what I am revealing. The enemy wants you to think that they are working for you. All of these, that they alone will work for you. But they're not. They're not. And I have a theory. Now, it is unproven by science. I'm going to admit that. But it is strongly influenced by my own experiences and the wisdom of the Holy Spirit. And here's the theory, here's the deal. You keep trying to address everything as a separate part or component of the whole of who you are as a person. Some of the things that you're trying to do are even opening portholes of demonic agreement. And they're allowing the enemy to take root, give you false healing, and it's going to completely and utterly tear you apart down the road. Or maybe it already has. Sounds great, doesn't it? So this is what I break down in my book. Okay, I break down in my book. We are separated into, I say 4 different kind of parts, okay? We have our spirit. This is the part of us that communicates directly with God. We have our heart, not like the physical beating organ heart, but the heart in the Bible, the inner man, is made up of the mind, the conscience, the emotions, and the will. The spirit, where we commune with God, where we commune with Holy Spirit, is meant to flood through us with the fruits of the Spirit into our heart, those 4 components. And that floods into our soul, okay? The soul being like who you are, Freud's id, who you are as a person. And then everything that happens in these arenas flood over into our body. Yeah, there are things that can touch us from the outside world on our body. I fell in a hole and sprained my ankle when I was in high school. Okay, that was me falling in a hole. But you know what? That then flooded upwards through my soul, my heart, and my spirit. But it's supposed to flood from your spirit to your heart, to your soul, to your body. So when you have these unexplainable stomach aches and you treat it from a body perspective or only, it's not going to work. I thought my organs are broken, so nutrition's going to fix me. So I became a nutritionist. I adopted a whole foods lifestyle. I began eating hundreds of dollars worth of supplements every single month, and it helped, but it didn't fix me. I thought, well, chiropractor's supposed to really help with all of the things and autoimmunity, so I'll go regularly. I went every month because that's what I felt I could afford. I received adjustments regularly for over 5 years. I always felt good afterwards. I was always out of alignment within a day. And I never noticed this like big impact. Then I thought, well, my body's worn out, so I need to probably stop doing long distance running because it exacerbates leaky gut. And I need to do exercises that are going to strengthen and open me without wearing me down. So I started yoga and became a yoga practitioner, instructor, and science of stretching coach. And I felt stronger, but I still wasn't healed like I thought I was supposed to be. Later, I actually found out those things were inviting demonic agreement. I'm not inviting demonic agreement of labeling myself as a science or a yoga instructor. I bind and loose any spirits who are trying to come upon that word curse. I am not a yoga instructor. Leave me now and go to the feet of Jesus. I can feel him trying to come on, y'all. It's trying to say, ooh, I have authority. It doesn't have authority. Because you see what was happening, all the areas that I was focusing on, that you're probably focusing on too, they're only touching one period, one piece. So exercise just touches the body. Endocrinologist for the thyroid just touches the body. Nutritional changes, the body. Chiropractor adjustments, the body. Declarations, I would use declarations. I'm like, well, obviously I just need to say, I am healed, I am healed, I am healed. Because it says in the Bible, Isaiah 53:3, 55:3, one of those, it's on my phone, I can't look at it, that by his stripes we are healed. So I'm like, I will declare this. Didn't work. So I thought, man, I just don't have enough faith. I did mindset work, helped a bunch. I combined mindset work with spirit. When you start combining things, it starts making bigger impact. Still wasn't healed. Another mistake, and so the book's going into all of these in detail, okay? Whoever's on Facebook, make sure you say hello. I can see that you're there, but I can't see who you are. If it's Marlene again, hello again. Say hello, though, so I know, please. Mistake number 2 that you're probably making, just like I have, some of the practices you're trying have resulted in demonic authority to torment you. Okay, I believe Ephesians 6:10 that says, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty powers. 10 through 12-ish. Put on the full armor of God so you can take your stand against the devil's scheme, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, the authorities, the powers of this dark world, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. We're not fighting against each other. We're not fighting against the nutrient depletion in the soil. We kind of are, but why is it like that? Because we live in a fallen world, and the enemy is convincing people to do all these practices that's creating that. The ultimate root of everything is in Ephesians 6. It is the rulers, the authorities, the powers of this dark world, and the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. You want your root cause? That, my friend, is your root cause. I mean it. Which is why we come against it with 4 key foundations, the first being agape love. That is your root cause right there. And some of the things that you do feed into the authority that these spiritual forces are allowed to take while we live on this earth as it is in your life. I have a whole list that I got from, I don't know how to say his name right, Mr. Vigor is what he goes by, but Vika Bortik, maybe, and Kayla Bortik. You need to go through this and take it to the Lord in prayer. Okay, you need to take it to the Lord in prayer, because there is one on that list that I'm not sure about yet, and I just really need to sit down and have a talk with God about, and I just haven't honestly taken the time to do it yet, and that is chiropractic, because Vika, Mr. Vigor, says that it's rooted in the occult. tells you where to, actually I think Kayla is the one who said it, tells you where to find that he has said that in published medical journals. I'm not gonna discount what they say. Like, I believe, like, it's on Google. I Googled what they said to Google and I found the things. But I also know some deliverance ministries that use chiropractic and have had no issues with it whatsoever. So I don't know. Okay. I just don't know right now. And I've gone for years upon years upon years. But I'm going to tell you right now, choosing to do yoga and becoming a yoga practitioner, that is a demonic stronghold opening. Demonic stronghold opening. If you want more information on that, put yoga in the comments. Put something more than that for when I watch this later. I'm not going to remember why you put yoga. Put more info about yoga in the comments, and I will send you more information about it, but not worth it. Not worth it. I can give you the same exact benefits as yoga with emphasis in praise moves. Okay? And it's one of the healing modalities that we use under physical wellness. Okay? So, excuse me. I apologize that I just did that loudly enough for you to probably hear. We bound and loose some spirits, so they're presently coming out. All right. So if this list, like, if this hits like a sucker punch, like, I've been doing a bunch of stuff and I'm letting demons in, oh my gosh, I get it. My world became shattered. And I talk about my story in the book when my world became shattered and my computer's dying, I have to plug it in. My world became shattered when my mentor came under deep demonic attack very recently. And I talk a little bit about the story of what that was for me and how I had to work through it, and how working through that is what led to this book, to be really honest. Like, I had to get all of the stuff that I needed to work through that to be able to write this book. Hey, Sue Ann, it's so great to see you. Oh, thank you so much, Sue Ann. Great, 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 great. I'm so glad you're here. You've been on my mind and my heart. And I think, started sending some things to you because you were not on my regular lists. So I'm going to put you on my newsletter list, Sue, so that you don't miss any of this too. And if you want my book, y'all, if you want this book that I'm writing, I'm not done yet. I am 50 pages in and not done yet. It is a book. I thought it was going to be like this 10-minute assessment. It's a book. It goes through everything that I'm talking about. Some of it I just read. And you got like the first, I don't know, maybe quarter of it. But I'm going to go into so much more detail in the book than what I'm going to go to in this live over parts of this, okay? So right now we're talking about the mistakes we've been making. Oh, if you want the book, sorry, put Rooted Reset in the comments and I will make sure you get the book. So another mistake that you've been making is praying in fear and in a way not attuned to God. If you would, live or on the replay, put me in the comments if you have prayed in fear. How do you know if you've prayed in fear? When you say, Lord, please, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, I beg you, I need you to. Please, Lord, if you would just. Or if you've ever prayed and you're wondering, why don't I hear from God? Or why do I only feel like I feel him or hear from him occasionally? All right. Put me in the comments if that's ever been you. Like, me, 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 me. It has been me. Hey, thanks, guys. I'm seeing more people hop on the Facebook. So great to have you. Brittany, nice to meet you. Nice to see you here. Yes, guys, Rooted Reset if you want this book where it's going to go deeper, deeper, deeper into all of this. So there's a question that when I first started coaching, people would ask me, and I was terrified to get. And it's, why do I only feel God sometimes? Why do I pray and my prayers, like, my prayers don't get answered, but like she prays and hers do? Why do declarations work for some people, but they don't work for me? And these are questions that I was asking myself, y'all. I didn't know how to answer them. I do now. I do now. Isn't that great? Woo! We're going to get God up in here all day long. All day long. I am insane. The way that I act sometimes. I do not take that as a word curse. I'm sorry. I'm not insane. But I act so like that sometimes. I don't care. I love it. because it's who I am. It's who God made me to be. Have you ever been in such an anxious shell that you are not who God has made you to be? I was like that for so long. So long, y'all. Not anymore. Not anymore. We were teasing each other. By we, I mean me and God. We were teasing each other when I was walking in to get ready for this live. I forget what it was now, but, you know, it's like one of those, like, yeah, you're like that. No, you're like that. No, you're like that. Like something that I do with my husband. Like God and I were doing that to each other and laughing. Like, seriously? How would you like to have that kind of relationship with him? How would you like to have that kind of relationship? It gets rid of everything, y'all. The anxiety goes away. Okay, so it all shifted when I went to the Brilliant Conference 2025. This is where I've learned everything about upstairs thinking and downstairs thinking and how we live in the world and we are the world, but we need to be of the kingdom and how to actually do it. How to actually get there. Not just like this beautiful, yes, we live in the world, but we're not of it and we are above it, but we are sinners and we must repent every day. No, y'all. Real actionable strategies, routines that we can put into our life every single day. And you can have conversations with God the way that I just had conversations with God. You can be ready to go do that big new thing that you're so terrified of trying, and you're not going to poop 17 times before you have to go do it. Your stomach's not going to hurt anymore before you have to go do it. Because you've been praying in fear and not in a way that is attuned to God. And there is a very specific way that you can pray and be attuned to God. And that's what I want to teach you. That's what's in here. Brittany, what's your... I need to see you. What was your name? What did you go by? Because y'all didn't go by your actual names half the time. I'm looking at you as a grown up right now. You look vaguely familiar. Tell me what you went by. Tell me how I know you. Like what name I know you by. Yes, my babies. Yes! See, I needed that. Oh my gosh, look at you. My heart. You are beautiful. Yeah, everybody watching this is beautiful, but Brittany. I'm telling you, yes, I know Saluda. Saluda's actually the only place I taught. When I left Saluda, I didn't teach anymore. I taught teachers. Oh, Brittany. These tears are for you, girl. My heart. I'm so glad you found me. I love it. I know you're like a grown-up and you have babies of your own right now. As they grow up, you're going to understand, but all of you were my babies when I didn't have a baby. And so, like, I still think of you as my children. Forgive me. Oh. I'm gonna like weep so much on this today. I just read your comment. Thank you. I'm gonna tell you all, when I was a teacher in Saluda, South Carolina, when I was Brittany's teacher, I was embarrassed to say God for a really long time. Right? I was embarrassed to say God. Like, I would sit at the table with three amazing women my first years teaching. It was Christy Zerler Shelley, Shonda Pugh. She's gotten married. I think she got married after, so it would have been Shonda Pugh then. And Elisa Schwolkowski. And I'm telling you right now, we would sit at the lunch table in the middle of the cafeteria and those three women would talk about God. And I would sit there and I would sit there in my little shell and I would think in my head, how can they do that so freely? How can they do that so easily? Not knowing that the love of God was what was pouring through, that made me so badly want to help all of my students. that made me so badly try to be there and be caring and do things like take kids home when their rides didn't show up. Not understanding how his love manifests through us even when we're seeking and we don't realize that he's there. Y'all, and that God and I had some real heart-to-hearts recently. And one of the things that we talked about, I said, God, like, I went into education because I wanted to change lives, and I thought I was going to do that by teaching reading and writing because it was a passion of my own. But I didn't feel like I did everything I was supposed to there. So thank you. You're actually a part of that conversation now and an answer to a part of his prayer, because we never know who or what we touch. But I said that was just a forerunner for the heart that I have to help your people in far more tangible ways, wasn't it? And he said, yeah. He said, yeah, it is. He puts desires on our hearts. And when we are trapped under the bonds and chains of anxiety, y'all, they're only smoke and mirrors. And I don't remember if I put this part in my book or not, but we have to talk about it right now, because one of the things that I do have is mistake number 4 is you've been trying to fix yourself from a dead identity. Let me see. I didn't put it in here. Maybe. I don't know. I can't write a book of everything I know yet. I will. I'm writing books. I've known that since 2nd grade. But not in the book that I like scanned through right here, but something you need to know, something that I didn't understand and just learned, is that we're in Easter, right? Like, by the way, the celebration, holiday, actual day of Jesus's arising has already happened. I believe it was yesterday. It was either yesterday or today. But there were 3 days between Jesus dying and him rising. Things happened. He did not just like go on a beach party vacation in that time period. You know what he did? Back in biblical days, when kings had conquest over another nation, they would take the strongest warriors, the army, the fighters of that nation. They would bind them in chains around, shackle their hands, shackle their feet, put them in this line, shackled together, put a hook through their mouth and pull them forward by the hook in a dominant act of superiority, showing that this army, this nation is under their foot and they have complete control. Jesus went to hell and he did that. He bound and shackled every single demon, he hooked them, and he paraded them around all of the spiritual realm, a defeated foe. And I have even better news. Demons don't have babies. I mean, that's good because then they don't propagate and have more demons, right? But it's also good because that means they're all first generation losers of this battle. They're all first generations captives. They were a part of that processional. They were either bound, chained, and marched, or they got to watch. When anxiety is holding you down, it is a defeated foe, because all the enemy who knows he's defeated can do is throw smoke and mirrors to make you think that you are also defeated. As long as he can put you under the illusion of defeat, he wins. But it is an illusion. It's not real. It is fake. And how you can come out of it, how you can come into it, my friends, I am telling you right now, it can happen in as little as 30 seconds. Or it can take days or weeks or months. Everybody is different. I believe it depends on a combination of your heart posture and your willingness. And on some things that I'm sure that I don't know about. It's an illusion. What it does to you is absolutely not an illusion, and I do not want to diminish how it feels inside of your body and what it does to you and how it absolutely breaks who you are. Those things are not an illusion. Those are natural world consequences of living under the illusion. That's why I wrote this book. That's why if you want this book and you want to measure how far under the illusion you are falling, and you want surefire routines that you can start immediately and can start bringing immediate healing into your life, put Rooted Reset in the comments if you haven't already, because that's what I'm bringing to you. Because you do not have to live under the veil. Y'all, this hits hard for me. If you're here long enough, you've heard my story. And Sue Ann, thank you for saying what you said about my testimony. I went through hell and came back so that I can give this to you. So what do? You need to understand 2 key points. You need to understand, number 1, that starting from a place of rest is the only way you can live fearlessly and abundantly. Starting from rest in God is the only way that you are going to fully break the shackles and chains of anxiety and live a fearless and an abundant life. And God talked to me about abundance today. Hold on. Let me see if I can figure out which notebook it was in. Look at it. Look at all these notebooks. This is only some of them. It's not even all of them. God talked to me about abundance today. Okay. And this is what he said. He said, abundance is not like money raining down. It's not health raining down. It's not whatever you're looking for, searching for, needing for, raining down. Because when we say abundance, people think of like money, right? It's not that. It's not babies popping out. Like, abundance is not whatever it is you're hoping for raining down upon you. Abundance is an overflowing from you into others. And my friends, if you are living under the weight of anxiety, worried thoughts, a stomach that hurts all the time, running to the bathroom because there's a big thing about to happen and it scares you, then you are pouring from a cup that is half empty or more. And there is not abundance in your life. And you need to get abundance in your life. So starting from a place of rest in God, rest in Jesus, rest in the Holy Spirit is the only way to live fearlessly and abundantly. And the second thing you need to understand is rest is the most effective state from which to heal and strengthen spiritually, mentally, and physically. Or if you go back to those breakdowns that we talked about early, in spirit, heart, soul, and body. And once you embrace and adopt these truths as your new lifestyle, you're finally going to find the peace that you've been looking for. And what I do in my book is I break these down more. And I talk about what exactly they mean using that model that I got from Dan Van Zyl in his book, Wired. I had the hiccups. And then I get practical with you about how you're actually going to do it. And I can't share my screen today. I'm going to have to figure out how to hook up Zoom and Facebook, and then I can share my screen. So that'll happen in probably not next week, because then I'm going to be unable to work on this for a few days here. But what I have for you is an assessment. So I have an anxiety and overwhelm assessment. It's breaking into the 4 foundations of wellness. So here's what it's going to do. I'm going to describe it to you. So I have the section on agape love. And you're going to rate yourself from rarely to always. How do these things, like, how does this work in your life? I love God in a personal way. God loves me in a personal way. My trust and faith in God gives me hope. I obtain strength and comfort from my faith. So I have 20-something statements that you're going to rate yourself, and then you're going to give yourselves totals from the whole thing or each circle or whatever. All right, I want you to be able to see how many like 2s and 3s you have, because 2s and 3s are like this is often true and this is always true. And it's important to be able to see how often you're doing things. And as I see this, what do? I notice like alignment issues, and so I fix the alignment while we're talking because I see it now, right? I mean, it makes sense to do it now. Okay. And then I have a section on nervous system regulation. So that's the second of the 4 foundations. So again, you're rating yourself from rarely to always. So questions like, how often do you have feelings of nervousness or anxiety? Symptoms of heightened muscle tension like headaches, sore muscles, hand tremors, feeling keyed up or on edge, quick to startle, a tendency to freeze in anxiety-provoking situations. These are all indicative of an overactive portion of your brain. I always want to say it's the anterior cingulus, ACG. My words aren't cingulus gyrate. I don't know, but it's not. It's a different area. I can't think of it right now. But these are all indications of an overactive part of your brain that feeds anxiety. And people want to tell you that you are, that if you fix like the neurotransmitters in your brain, that it's going to fix your anxiety, because you have anxiety because you're depleted, you don't have enough neurotransmitters, or your gut's all messed up, or you've got depletion of whatever. I'm sitting here right now telling you that I do not believe that is true. I believe it is actually the opposite. You have anxiety, or sorry, you have depletion. Your neurotransmitters are depleted, your gut is depleted, your adrenals are in adrenal exhaustion. That's all happening because you have anxiety. And as soon as you start from a place of rest, you're going to be able to heal these things. You're going to be able to layer in these other things you've been trying, and you're going to see far more healing inside of your body. And that's what the book teaches you. And I mean, the book's only going to cover like base 1. So if you're like, oh my gosh, like this is exactly what I've needed in my life, you can always work with me too. If you're interested in working with me, all you have to do is either put in the comments or DM me, how do I work with you? Or I want to know more about coaching with you. And we'll talk about how we can work one-on-one together. But the book's going to give you a great foundation. Okay? So I've got like, I don't know, 20 or so questions on that. You're going to rate them, you're going to add them up, and you're going to see where you fall. The third foundation of wellness is physical wellness. So again, this is about physiological, like your posture, how much you exercise, how much do you move, like energy, not like how much energy do you have? That's what I mean. How much energy do you have? Okay. So again, rarely to always. Do you exercise less than 30 minutes per day? And read it carefully, because they are less thans. Do you exercise less than 30 minutes per day? Do you take less than 5,000 steps a day? Do you walk around less often than every hour throughout the day? Another 20 or so questions, and that's going to help you gauge what your physical wellness looks like. Where you are there, where you're doing well, where you need a little help. And then I have nutrition. I took this straight from my 300 something question nutritional assessment questionnaire, okay, the NAC. And it is it's such a great questionnaire that not only do the nutritionists who went to the school that I did get it, but they just shared it with everybody who has, I forget if it's Biotics or Standard Process. I think it's Biotics. They just shared it with anybody who sells the supplement brand Biotics, which is chiropractors, doctors, holistic practitioners around the nation. They just shared this assessment with them. It is so good. Everybody's going to be using this. So good. So I took 2 of the sections out of that. One just on general diet. So from never to daily, how often do you consume alcohol, sweeteners, candy, carbonated beverages, tobacco, vaping, caffeine, fast food, fried foods, things like that. And you rate that. And then I also took the adrenal health section out, because it is most indicative of how far down the stress rabbit hole you have fallen, because anxiety will rob you of adrenal function, and when your adrenals start to go, they start stealing from everything else in your body. Hello, autoimmunity. It's all connected. So again, you're going to rate from no, yes, moderate, severe. Do you have trouble falling asleep? Are you a slow starter in the morning? Do you get a headache after you exercise? Do you crave salty foods? Do you sweat easily? Do you yawn a lot in the afternoon or get headaches? Okay, these are indicative of adrenal distress if they're happening in your life. And then you're going to be able to take all of those things, you're going to make yourself a chart, because I am a teacher at heart, y'all, and I believe, even though it's qualitative data, how you feel in quantitative ways to look at it. So you're going to get a visual of where you are on the stress scale, and it's going to break it into, in each area, agape love, nervous system regulation, physical wellness, nutrition, diet and lifestyle, nutrition, adrenals. Are you showing up in each of these areas as low priority need, moderate priority need, or high priority need? And the scale is individual for each of the assessments based on what your overall score is. And then for whichever priority level you fell in, you're going to actually have, like, this is like a little summation of what it means or likely means. Oh, again, what I do, I'm sharing this while I'm looking at it, so I'm gonna like, oh, hey, that's not lined up right. I'm gonna like do my lining up right. And then it's still not lined up right, and it's bothering me. I'm sorry. There we go, right there. All right, and then you're gonna get recommendations and next steps for every single area. So the scorecard's not meant to like label you. We don't ever want to attach a personal pronoun to anything negative, including a disease, a diagnosis, or a label. Never attach a personal pronoun to it. That's why I say Hashimoto's has lived inside of me rather than I have or my. Never attach personal pronoun to a negative. It invites demonic authority in your life to torment you on it. Okay? But I am giving you recommendations and next steps of specific things that you can do based on your results. And then I'm going to give you, I'm still working on this section, but then I'm going to give you specified, if you scored high, start here, do this. If you scored medium, start here, do this. If you scored low priority, start here, do this. All of this is inside of this book. It is going to be over 50 pages long, lots of information. I described it in a nutshell here in an hour and 15 minutes, and it is absolutely free. All you have to do is put Rooted Reset in the comments, and I will make sure that I get it out to you. All right, so that's what it is. That's a sneak peek. When I figure out how to hook Zoom and Facebook up together, because there's a way, I just don't know how. When I figure out how to hook those two things up together, I will come back and do it again, and I'll do an overview video where you can actually see some of it, and we'll walk through some of it together there. If you have questions, please reach out to me. If you're seeing this, you're like, you know, that's not me, but it most definitely is somebody I know. Share this with them, because you never know how that little conversation that you're having with that person next to you, or that share that you give that person next to you, can change their life. You never, ever, ever know. I love you all. I thank you so much for being here with me today. Those of you who interacted, thank you so much for all of your interactions. Please share this. Thank you for sticking with me for so long. If you're watching the replay, comment. I don't care if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, but comment, and let me know what you think. Let me know your questions. And if you are interested in working with me one-on-one, I work with a limited, very limited number of people one-on-one as well. My time is precious. Your time is precious. I want to devote my time to you. Okay? I want to get in the car with you and drive you home if that's what we have to do. And so if you're interested in learning more about what it looks like to work with me one-on-one and get personalized routines based on your specific needs, way more in-depth surveys that you get to take with that, woo! Just DM me or comment that you're interested in coaching, and I will let you know how we can set up a consult and we can talk about that. You can also come in if you're like, I'm interested in working on one-on-one, but I know I'm not ready to commit to something like really big. Another way that you can work with me is through micro coaching. So what is that? Micro coaching is where I send you essentially these surveys. You fill them out and answer a few different questions, and you choose a specific area that you want help in. Okay, so you choose a specific area that you want help in. You fill out the survey for that particular area, and I send you personalized routines that you can start incorporating into your life. It's all done asynchronously, so we never even have to set up a time to meet. I send you a survey with questions, you fill it out, and then I send you back about a 20-minute video. You might get a couple videos, one a little explanatory and one that is personalized to like what it is that you're doing. But I'll send back about 20 minutes worth of content of these are specific routines that you can put into your life. And I do those in the area of agape love, so hearing God's voice more clearly, learning how to rest in Him and ease anxiety through rest in Him. Physical wellness, I will actually teach you myofascial release tips to release tension in your body, improve flexibility at anywhere in your body that you want to release it. I will create and send for you a personalized routine based on what you tell me. And then nutrition is another area. If these are like more basic nutrition tips. So if you want to learn how to just kind of clean up your eating and start making the smart swaps and learn some really easy places based on your needs, we can look at nutrition from that angle. And then the other area would be when we're looking at that nervous system regulation, how to kind of tie in some mindset and agape love. So those are the areas that I've kind of changed the iteration of what that looks like a couple of times. So I had to think in my brain there. That's what micro coaching could look like. I lost my Facebook screen. You guys are there somewhere. I don't know where you're at. There you are. Okay, I found you. Whew, you're not lost. And then I also do individual coaching sessions where I meet one-on-one with you. So it's very much what I just said about micro, but we'll actually meet via Zoom, and you can ask questions while we're in our coaching session, and we can kind of refine and do some practices together. So, all right. Just drop it in the chat or reach out to me on DM if you have interest in any of that, and I will reach back out to you. And I just wish you the absolute best, and thank you for being here again. God bless, and all my love and my prayers over you that you have been just washed in His word and His love today. All right, my friends, God bless and take care. I'll see you again next Wednesday at 1 p.m. EST. Bye-bye.